Welcome to Lesson 3. Today, we'll learn how to manage data, information, and digital content effectively. We'll cover data encoding, how metadata helps organize content, tips for creating effective file structures, and how to ensure data privacy through backup and security measures. By the end of this lesson, you'll know how to organize and secure your digital content. Let's get started. Let's begin with data encoding. Every time you create or send a file, whether it's your resume, a cover letter, or an application form, it's converted into binary code, which is just ones and zeros. This allows computers to store, read, and transmit your files. When you send your resume to a potential employer, your computer translates the file into binary, so it can be stored and sent over the internet. The employer's computer then converts it back into a readable resume. This process happens every time you send or upload documents, ensuring your resume and job materials can be shared online. Sometimes, when you create a file on one system, like a Mac, and then open it on another, like Windows, you might encounter a problem called Mojibaka. This happens when the systems use different character encodings, causing text to appear as unreadable symbols or garbled characters. Mojibaka often occurs because different operating systems use different character encodings to interpret text. For example, Mac and Windows might interpret characters differently if the file encoding isn't standardized, leading to garbled text. To avoid this, always save your resume or cover letter in a widely supported format, like UTF-8, which is compatible across most platforms. If you don't pay attention to encoding, the employer might end up receiving a resume full of garbled text, making it unreadable. This could make you appear unprofessional and reduce your chances of securing the internship. Next, let's look at metadata. Metadata is data about data, providing important details about your files. For instance, your resume's metadata includes the creation date, last modified date, author, and file type. When preparing multiple versions of your resume for different internships, metadata helps you track each file. For example, the last modified date lets you know if you're sending the most updated version of your resume, while the file type ensures you're using the right format, like PDF. Even if two files have the same name, they can still have different metadata. For example, resume_johndoe.pdf might have been updated on one date but not on another. The metadata will tell you which is the most recent version, helping you avoid sending an outdated resume to an employer. If you don't check a file's metadata, you might accidentally send an older version of your resume, which could reflect outdated information about your skills or experience. This could hurt your application chances, as employers expect the most current and accurate information. To avoid this mistake, always check the metadata, especially the last modified date and file type, to ensure you're sending the correct version of your resume, and that it's in a format that employers prefer, like PDF.
Reflective time.
Are you managing your files effectively? What would be one small extra step change that you can make to enhance effectiveness of your filing system?
Now, let's move on to practical tips for managing your digital content. First up, creating effective file structures. An organized file system is key to managing your internship applications and staying on top of deadlines. Start by grouping your files into folders based on context, such as internship applications, resume, or cover letters. Within each folder, create subfolders by company or date. For example, under internship applications, you can have subfolders like Tech Company Applications and Marketing Internships 2024. Next, use consistent naming conventions. Your file names should be descriptive and follow a clear pattern. For instance, include the date, your name, and company. A file name like 2024-10-01_resume_John Doe_techcompany.pdf is much more useful than resume.docx. Follow these best practices, avoid generic names, include dates to track versions, and use underscores or dashes instead of spaces. This will help you easily identify files and ensure you're submitting the correct version of your resume to each company. If you don't use proper naming conventions, you might end up sending the wrong document, which can damage your professional image. Employers may view this as disorganized or careless, reducing your chances of landing the internship. Now that you've organized your files, let's talk about backup and security. Keeping backups of your resume and application materials is crucial, especially when applying for internships. There's nothing worse than losing your work at a critical moment. First, set up cloud backup. Cloud services like Google Drive or iCloud automatically save your files online, ensuring that even if your computer crashes, your internship applications are safe. You can also use an external hard drive to create a physical backup of your data. This is especially useful for large portfolios or high-resolution images that you might need for creative job applications. If you prefer an automated solution, use backup software like Max Time Machine or Windows Backup, which can be set to regularly back up your files without any manual effort. If you don't back up your files, you risk losing important documents like your resume right before a deadline. This could delay your application or even cause you to miss out on an internship opportunity altogether. For data security, follow these essential steps. Use strong passwords for both local and cloud storage. Enable two-factor authentication, 2FA, for an extra layer of protection. And keep your software updated to ensure the latest security patches are installed. Let's walk through setting up two-factor authentication. This adds an extra step when logging into your account, requiring both your password and a code sent to your phone. This simple step can greatly reduce the risk of unauthorized access to your files, especially when storing sensitive information like your personal details in your resume. It's also important to keep track of your file versions. When working on multiple versions of your resume, use version control to ensure you always have the latest version, while also keeping older versions for reference. If you don't secure your files properly, sensitive information like your address, phone number, or even social security number could be stolen. This could lead to identity theft or other serious consequences. Now let's talk about data privacy. Data privacy refers to protecting personal or sensitive information from unauthorized access. One of the most effective ways to protect your data is through encryption. Encryption converts your data into an unreadable format, and only someone with the correct key can unlock it. This is especially important if you're storing sensitive personal details in your resume. You can also protect your data by setting access controls, ensuring that only authorized users can view or edit sensitive files. For example, when sharing your resume or portfolio online, make sure only employers can access it. Failing to protect your resume with proper privacy settings can result in unauthorized access to your personal information, which could be misused or lead to identity theft.
Reflective time.
Are you going to employ at least one of the above data privacy measures? How are you going to do?
Let's recap. Today, we explored how data is encoded and organized using metadata, how to create effective file structures using naming conventions and folders, and the importance of data privacy, backup, and security when managing your resume and internship applications. By mastering these skills, you'll be well on your way to managing your internship materials like a pro. Whether you're preparing a resume, cover letter, or portfolio, a structured and secure approach will save you time and protect your precious data. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more lessons on mastering digital content and data management skills. For additional resources and information, please visit the Digital Competence Education platform.